This is Benjamin Ramirez. I'm making a video on the Alekhine defense. This is a game I had with a friend on one of my groups, and it was a really interesting game, so I wanted to go over it. Obviously, as to Alekhine defense, he moves up. 2-pawn attack, which is, one of the standards. And this move caught me off guard, and I had to take a second to look at it. It recommends e6 and c6, which is what I thought is what I should do. Now, obviously, if I was thinking about what other options I can do besides e6 and c6, so I wanted to make sure I made the best move. Now, obviously, if he moved here, he can threaten my knight. Now, obviously, if I move my knight anywheres, he can just call a check. Well, checkmate here. So, and if I defend, he can take my knight. Now, that's true for pretty much anywhere. Now, if I go here, obviously he can take it right away. He can take it right away. He can take it here right away. And if I move here, I thought pretty much, not this move, I thought about this move right here. I wasn't sure how I can defend against it, and I'm like, well, if you threaten my knight and my pawn. Apparently I have a defense. I didn't see it at the time, but I'm like, wow, if I move my knight anywhere, that would be checkmate. He can take my knight. Apparently I was wrong. I could have defended this way. So, but it's still considered better for white, even though it's not really checkmate. You just simply push pawns pretty much and try to get an advantage that way. But black is pretty much one piece out. The one piece can keep being under attack. You already have 2 pieces out for white. I mean, you can keep, pushing. But that was pretty much my concern. I didn't see anywhere I could move. I thought about this, and I'm like, wow, he can really mess me up here. So I went with, let's see if this will play the actual move. Okay, that's the move I played. And as the game continued, apparently this was not the best move. It was b6. Well, I just wanted a castle, so I moved here. It was apparently an inaccuracy. I just had a castle. I didn't see an immediate threat. And apparently b6 was a bad move. I thought that was okay. I was interested in trying to exchange the bishops here. I figured after b6 I might be able to play a6, bishop a6 at some point, which was my idea. And once he did that move is when I was worried about some type of checkmate threats. I'm going to make a random move just to make it. But I was concerned about this move right here. If I were to capture, he can capture back, and he's threatening checkmate unless I take the knight. So that was a really nice, that was a concern of mine. If he moved here directly, and I captured, and he captured back, I kind of be forced to move my queen or my pawn. Obviously, if I move my queen, then I'd be in serious trouble because of checkmate, and there's no way out. So there was some defenses I had against it. I didn't see them all, but I definitely did see the checkmate threats. So I ended up deciding to go with pawn here, which is also considered not very good for me. I thought that defended all the checkmates. It defended the ones that I've seen. So that was the move I played. He took. I also seen the possibility of this. I thought it was okay. I thought this was okay for me. I mean, there's not much I can do. He could have gotten a draw, but he he plays to win. I moved here. He took. I took. Now the purpose of my knight capture was to defend my pawn. That way he can't checkmate me if he brought his knight in. He castled. I decided to go for the bishop exchange. He moved his knight up, and I simply captured because of all the threats that he had. I figured if he moved his knight back, then I can get my pieces together, which is pretty much what happened. Here I was still concerned about him trying to take my pawn. I figured that this would be a good move. I didn't realize his bishop could put me in checkmate. Here, if I move over one, that would be checkmate. Right here, that's game. So the only move I had was to move over. And here, he could have simply went back and forth and did a draw. I don't know if he realized it, but if I went here, that's checkmate. And I rather draw than lose. And he decided to make another move because he wanted to continue the game, to finish the game. I would suggest, if you don't see a clear way of winning, obviously here Stockfish raised to equal, so I guess it was okay. He wasn't in a losing situation. But if you're playing someone higher rated, if you draw, you still gain points. And if you don't see a way you can get advantage or win, drawing is perfectly fine. Here I realized that I have an extra piece, so I simply was thinking about finding ways to force trades at this point. Apparently that wasn't a good move. There were a lot of other good moves, but this is the move I played to force trades. And after forced trades, it puts me at advantage. And all I have to do from here is trade pieces, and I win. That's all I really have to do here. So that's what I tried to do. The rest of the game is not important. The only thing important here is the beginning and the first couple moves. But he did have a very nice attack, and I did like it. It was very solid. I want to see when he moved in. Was it decent for? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here I made a mistake. I mean, he could have did better here, but it still equalized 9, 11. Now he could take a bishop here, but this is fine too. At 13 moves, he did pretty fine. There was 2 moves that he could have did better. Obviously, I could have did better as well on 2 moves. But overall, this is a really good setup, so I like it. If he can learn from my mistakes in this opening and perfect it, that would be really good for him. So he did really good. I think this is definitely a good way to try it out.